Hi, everyone. Welcome to Art and Talk. Thank you so much for being with us today. Today, we have a singer-songwriter, and we're going to be finding out all about her journey, and she's going to be performing for us. Just a little bit of background. If you're new to Art and Talk is all about meeting artists and being inspired. And I'm Leslie Sue, the host for Art and Talk. All right, so we're going to go ahead and welcome our guest for today. Again, she's a singer-songwriter, and we'll be diving into her music and her musical journey. I'd like to welcome our guest for today, Shimmer Johnson. Hi, Shimmer.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing?
Awesome to see you, and thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, we're delighted. All right, so I have a little bit of background on you and your music and songwriting and singing. You have a very interesting style and kind of blend. Could you share with us how you describe your music?
Well, I'm more of a I call myself a multi-genre artist. So I sing and write all different types of music from pop to rock to country to R&B. But the album that I just recently put out, Inner Me, and the single Awaken that I just put it out is very much adult contemporary pop, really. And it's got a little bit of a jazzy vocal to it, but not. I guess the best way to describe it is if you listen to the contemporary Christian artist Lauren Daigle, it would be her meets like Adele or something. It's very soft vocals and really beautiful piano music. And I've started working with other producers in LA and here in Canada as well, and starting to create unique, different types of sounds so that I can stay on top of, my music and the radio and everybody that is playing different styles. I kind of want to do my own thing and I don't want to be compared too much to who's already out there. I kind of want everybody to think, oh, when they hear my voice, it's Shimmer, right? So
Mhm. Yeah. So it sounds like just off the bat that the uniqueness and your individuality is a prominent focus for you. You don't want to be, it sounds like Shimmer, you don't want to be kind of like in a box sounding like this person or that person. You want to have your true authenticity, your true voice to be expressed however you want it to be.
that's exactly right. And by doing that, I've done many projects like De Benedetta is my rock project that I did. And I did that with the 80s guitarist from Cinderella, Barry Benedetta. And that's why we called the project De Benedetta, because it was all about his guitar work. And so we did and released that in May of 2020. And it was a fun rock Evanescence type album. It was fun. And then I've done some country stuff with a group called Aurora's Lights. And then in 2021, I started really diving into my Shimmer Johnson pop adult contemporary music. And that's currently what I am promoting the most out of all of my projects. And yeah, I've written with some amazing billboard writers in LA. I even did our remake of Martika's 1989 hit "Toy Soldiers" with Michael J, the songwriter. I'm friends with him in LA. He's an awesome person to work with, and he's one of my favorite songwriters I've ever worked with. And my new single that's coming out next Friday starts with you. I wrote that with the amazing Ted Perlman, and he's worked with like some of the amazing greats like Bob Dylan and you know all of the 70s hits. So what was cool when I got to work with him, it turned into almost like an R&B jazz pop thing. It was awesome. So I'm
Mhm.
really looking forward to everybody hearing that one.
Yeah, yeah, and it's wonderful how your musical journey thus far has taken you to some collaborative efforts with like some of the songwriting
Yep.
and whatnot that you've mentioned with some others who could really be of service and benefit
Yeah.
you would really kind of help shape and define things for you.
I mean, I grew up in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, so I'm Canadian, but I'm technically dual citizenship. My dad is American and I actually did my high school in Branson, Missouri, and I lived there with my dad. And he actually got my dual citizenship, which was really awesome. So I did my grade 11 and 12 there, and I graduated with, Donnie and Marie Osmond's kids. So I graduated with David Osmond. He was in my high school class, and I even got to sing with Scott Osmond. So in my teenage years, I sang a lot of country stuff. So, and then when I moved back home to Edmonton when I was 18, 19, that's when I started doing more pop and rock and grungier Kate Bush type stuff. And I just started basically just loving all styles of music. And I started DJing, and that just gave me even more love for all the styles. So
Mhm. So you kind of pull from all these different musical styles and genres. Is there any that currently, and of course things will kind of shape and transform, but any that currently kind of just really kind of get you fired up, really you just kind of feel like, oh yeah, this is kind of helping to be my voice, my singing, the way I want to express music and whatnot.
that would be, and what's really funny is I've never really listened to Christian contemporary type music. And Lauren Daigle had the crossover hit that everybody knows, You Say. And I ended up thinking it was Adele originally when I heard that. And I pulled her name up and I downloaded her entire album. And that's actually the voice and the style that she went with actually really inspired me to write my entire Inner Me album. And I wrote this amazing song called You Keep Me Grounded. And then I wrote Candle right after that. And that was kind of the start of my whole perfect shimmer sound that I finally found that I feel that it's my true self. So, and then I wrote Awakened with John Parente in LA, and it's on the same lines as the Inner Me album, which is really nice. And yeah, I'm just trying to get myself out there and, keep on building. So,
Yeah. All right. Speaking of Awaken, would you like to go ahead and tell us a little bit about that and go ahead and sing that for us?
oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, Awakened. I just come to a point in my life where I just felt like everything was kind of falling into place, and I wrote a song about it. And that's pretty much what Awaken's about. It's a very sweet, inspiring, um, meaningful song that everybody can connect to. And I really hope you guys enjoy it. I wrote it with John Parente in LA. I actually wrote the entire song myself with piano and voice, and I sent him the stems of just those two parts, my voice and the piano that I wrote. And he came up with this beautiful accompaniment to go with it. My piano's not in there anymore, but it's totally okay because I play piano by ear, so I play good enough to write. And then I usually send it to producers, and they turn it into what it ends up being. John Parente, for instance, is my co-writer for Awakened. For my Inner Me album, I mainly used Corey Johnson, which is my co-writer, um, for the majority of all my stuff. But with Awakened, it was an LA project thing that I did, and we did it overseas because with COVID, there's no meeting in real life. I was in Edmonton. I usually fly to LA, but this time we did it, over the internet. So it was kind of nice. Well, you guys want me to sing it for you?
Absolutely.
All right. I will sing it for you. Here we go. All right. Life has no limits. Only give what you can take. Find the courage to be strong, not fake. Be true to yourself. Don't be lying. These pools full of tears overflowing. I've awakened to a life can't be shaken, can't be taken. I'm finally free. Stop They won't change a thing. They'll keep you broken, let you feel the sting. Be true to yourselves. Don't be lying. These pools full of tears overflowing. I've awakened to a life can be, can't be shaken, can't be taken. I'm finally free. I've awakened to a life can be shaken, can't be taken. I'm finally free. I've awakened to a life can't be shaken, can't be taken. I'm finally free. I'm finally free. I'm finally free. I'm finally free.
That was
There you go.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. So awaken, really powerful message. Really, as you were saying, a testament to you feeling like things were finally kind of like all the ducks in a row,
Yeah,
feeling free. Things are, moving in the direction that you want.
that's
Um,
correct.
yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
with everything being so negative with the whole COVID, and I mean, I wanted to put something out there that was positive and uplifting, and so far it's doing really well. It's on the second week on the world indie charts, and it's at number 55 right now, which is awesome. It's only been on for 2 weeks, so
Yeah,
yeah, it's doing good.
yeah. Congratulations with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's tap in, Shimmer, to your songwriting, the
Okay.
lyrics per se. Tell us a little bit about um, that, how you kind of get in that zone. I mean, obviously, with Awakened, you kind of set up what that was all about.
Yeah.
Can we dive into your process of songwriting?
Yeah, I am a very interesting type of songwriter. Sometimes I will just sit at the piano and I'll start playing chords and playing around and figuring out something I really like, and I'll play a 4-bar chord and then I'll create a melody over top of it before I even start on the lyric. Um, and so I usually will get the music done first and then I start on the melody and then I will do a lyric, and I'll usually listen to the piano or the piece that I'm working on like a dozen times before I even start to think of a subject that I want to talk about. I don't just go in there with a whole bunch of words written down pre. I I don't like to write that way because I like to be able to feel the song, and by just going in there and listening and feeling the song, you can usually figure out something that's going to really connect to the public when they listen to it. Um, it's hard to explain, but there's been times where I'll go in and the lyric and melody is already in my head, and then I get my co-writer Corey Johnson to write a guitar thing or a piano thing, depending on the type of style I have that I think it's going to be. Um, but lately it's been mainly the piano type songs, so I've been doing most of that myself. But um, like It Starts With You, for instance, my single that's coming out next week, with Ted Perlman. I had no idea what that track was going to even sound like. He did it in Nashville, and he sent it to me, and I listened to it probably like 30 times before I wrote anything to it. And then what was really funny is I wrote something to it originally and it was just bad. It was horrible. I was like, this is not good. Oh my God. And then my co writer, Corey Jones, he's like, it's not good. We got to write something together. So I pulled my co-writer here in Edmonton, Alberta, with me, and he helped me write lyrics. And we put our heads together and created this really cool, upbeat, uplifting type song that totally matched uh, the song that Ted had sent us. And what was really cool about Ted is I wanted something because I don't write fast songs very often. I have trouble with that. I'm a great, you know, slow song singer. I love them, and that's kind of my thing, but I wanted something fast for radio. So I requested Ted to write me something fast. And the song that he sent is kind of like Bruno Mars meets Kesha, which is really cool. But I added my own shimmer to it, and it's totally unique and sounds like nothing out there. And I'm super excited about it. So it's all about uniqueness, really.
So it has a real prominent theme is the uniqueness, and also to kind of be a message of hope and upliftment.
That's right. You have to be able to get your messages out that you're trying to, get out there in your song. If I've done lots of songwriting workshops with like Judd Friedman with Global Songwriters, and he always says you have to have one core idea, and it's true. You have to have one core idea in a song. You can't go all over the place, or the song's not going to make sense, and no one's going to listen to it. So I've really taken, that advice to heart. And every time I write a song, if I start going off kilter and start talking about something else, I'll actually take those lyrics out and save them for a different song and rewrite what is going to work with my core idea and the core message that I'm trying to get through on the certain song that I'm working on. Right. So that's a key songwriting thing, is one core message.
Yeah, and that's great advice. That's kind of like the center point, and everything else, like the spokes of the wheel, all kind of extend from that. All right, so this new single that you've been speaking about is going to be out soon, Shimmer, right? It's about October
It is
15th.
October 15th. Yes.
15th. Okay, wow. Yeah, it's right around the corner. All right, so we have the lyric video, and
Yes.
this would be a great time to show it. Was there anything else you wanted to share about it before we pull it up?
No, you guys can totally watch the lyric video. I created it myself, and I think I got a cool feel. We're going to be actually shooting a real music video for this year. So
All alone, feeling emptiness. She's leaving. He won't see me. What I need to
Hey.
Starts with you, and that'll be out the 15th of October.
That's correct.
Much success with that. That was a really interesting blend, that we heard your first song. For those,
Yes.
that might be kind of new to you, that then now we're adding this kind of real contemporary pop, really youthful kind of vibe, but yet still kind of staying with that shimmer
That's
tone.
correct. Yeah. Which makes it nice and unique and different, and no one else out there is doing that. So, it's when you're an artist and a singer and a songwriter, there's like millions of singers and songwriters out there. So you really have to do something unique that's unique to yourself and to make yourself stand out above everybody else.
Mhm,
So that's
mhm.
what you have to do.
Yeah. And let's talk about your voice. You have this beautiful, very emotive voice, um, very, unique as we've been saying.
Yep.
Um, how did that evolve and develop to be like a shimmer voice?
It's just by practicing and just listening to all different sorts of music and figuring out exactly where you want your voice to be. I have a 4.5 octave range approximately. I can do the Celine Dion stuff and Mariah Carey stuff and Lauren Daigle stuff, Pink. I can sing all of that sort of stuff. And then I can also do, Etta James and all the older stuff. And I really like how my voice sounds when I do the Etta James type jazzy R&B style,
Mhm,
and I just blended that with my contemporary like Sarah McLachlan sound that I had and molded them together, and that's what gave me kind of my shimmer sound, and I don't sound like anybody else, and I really like it.
mhm. And that emotional quality is very important to you. And as you were saying with your songwriting style, also Shimmer, it's like if the melody and lyrics isn't there, like you said, sometimes that's there, but then
Yeah,
sometimes you're at the piano and you're like doing the chords, you're saying like you really feel into it, and it's almost like you are tapping into what the music wants to.
exactly.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, you have to be able to tap into the song versus just inserting lyrics and hoping it works, or inserting a melody and hoping it works. Like with that Starts With You song, the original take on it, it was not even that song. It was a totally different song. And once we did a whole retake of it, we waited a day and then we went back, deleted all. Well, we didn't delete it. We hid it in the Cubase file and Nuendo file, and then basically just started from scratch again and rewrote it completely, except for one part, the part that I wrote with Ted Perlman, which is the With You part, which is, he's a big producer and he's like, you can do whatever you want with the rest of the song, but this stays this way. I'm like, okay. He's
Mhm,
like, you can change the lyric or whatever, but it has to stay this way. And, and I held true to that and kept, he calls it the chant, kept the chant the same. And yeah, and then I wrote the rest of it with my co-writer Corey. So
mhm.
worked out really well.
Yeah. I'd like to talk a little bit, Shimmer, about what is your view of your like contemporaries? You did touch upon this a little bit earlier in the interview.
Yep.
What are your observations, your insights in terms of what's going on musically now with those that are kind of like in your peer age range?
What's going on with my peer age range? I
Yeah.
don't know. Everybody's doing a little bit different type of things that are out there. Like Lauren Daigle is more on the lines of what I've been doing, but I'm not a contemporary Christian artist. I'm just a contemporary pop artist. So I've been trying to write different types of, meaningful messages that everybody can connect to that aren't necessarily religious. And because I want to be able to get onto mainstream radio. That's my main goal, right? Everybody's main goal that's a singer songwriter that is currently indie or putting out music independently. In our hearts, we all want to be on the big iHeart stations and so forth. And we work hard to try to get there and to try to get majors to notice us. So age range right now, that listen to contemporary artists is probably like 20 to 35 ish, maybe older. um I'm not quite sure on that because I don't have the exact stats, But younger people are starting to listen to my album, which is kind of nice. I have, because on Spotify it kind of gives you the age range of everybody, and most of the age range that are listening to my Inner Me album and Awaken and stuff are anywhere from 18 to 35, 40. And then I have a big chunk in the older category, which is kind of nice because my music's kind of reaching everybody versus just the young crowd or just the mid crowd. It's kind
Mhm,
of reaching everybody, you know, pretty evenly.
mhm. Yeah, I think this would be a great moment, Shimmer. Let's go ahead and go into another song, if you would, please.
This song actually made it #1 on the World Indie Charts a few months back. Has this masquerading beauty that makes me be colored glass in a frame that's not meant to be shattered pieces on the floor. Have the scenes ended in insecurity? Lost my words in my script, nothing left to read. Ancient stories left unsaid. You always made me feel so beautiful, and you tear it out like a centerfold. I am priceless. Can't you see this? I didn't lose you, you lost me. You searched for me inside the sea of lost dreams. You won't find me there. I woke up in a different place, entirely a different state of my mind. You won't find me there. As the bird found the wind that can carry me through the storms and the rains that were drowning me. I can almost feel the sun. Isolation has ground my ability to see the truth where I was and where I'm meant to be. Left faith, lead me to my grace. You always made me feel so beautiful, and you tear it out like a centerfold. I am priceless. Can't you see this? You always made me feel not powerful, like the dark underneath your waterfall. I am priceless. I can see thee. Won't let anybody tear me down. Won't let no one tear me to the ground. Won't let no one tear me down, tear me down. Won't let anybody tear me down. Won't let no one tear me to the ground. Won't let no one tear me down, tear me down, tear me down. It's over now. I didn't lose you, you lost me. You searched for me inside the sea of lost dreams. You won't find me there. I woke up in a different place, entirely a different state of my mind. You won't find me there. You won't find me there. You won't find me there. 'Cause I've gone, I have moved on. I woke woke up in a different place, entirely a different state of my mind. You won't find me there. And
That was
that one made it to #1, which is cool on the world indie charts, and it did really well back in March
great.
2021. So
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful. Great. Your voice is so fluid and smooth.
thank you.
Yeah, really beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Shimmer, have you always known that you wanted to sing and perform to go with it and songwriting? Was that just, you know, something that you always just kind of carried with you?
Yeah, since I was a little girl, I grew up in a very musical family. My father was in a country band. My older brother sings. He's a beautiful country singer, Jerry. And and my dad, Aaron. And when we were young, we used to, when I was really young, like 1 to 3, we would do singing in the living room, all the family, even the family members that couldn't sing. My brother Chris was terrible. He couldn't sing. Either could my brother Gary, but I love him to death. And we still go to karaoke together, and he sings crazy rock songs. But we used to do that, and it was kind of like a family thing every weekend. When my mom and my dad split, we moved back to Edmonton. At the time, we were in the States with my dad. Um, we moved back to Edmonton, and I just started exploring more of like the pop divas and like listening to Whitney Houston and Celine Dion and all those. And my mom was not the richest person on the face of the planet. So I got myself a part-time job doing telemarketing at 12 because I wanted to be able to buy me some singing lessons because I wanted to learn how to sing not Whitney's, Mariah Carey's Without You. And she holds that note for like 30 something seconds. And I wanted to be able to do that. So I worked for like 2 weeks at the Wimford Stewart Association when I was 12. And yeah, I got my check and I paid for, 2 singing lessons, and I learned how to breathe. And that's really the only training I've really had musically in my entire life were those 2 lessons at 12.
Mhm.
And all the rest, I've just kind of, did competitions. I Will Always Love You was my main competition song that I would win pretty much all the competitions with. I love my Whitney Houston. And then it was awesome when I turned 18. I started listening to like a Kate Bush and Alanis Morissette and all the grunge pop female artists. And then I fell in love with Tori Amos. I just love her. And I just really enjoyed the eclectic of different music. And honestly, when I was young, I had this Lori Morgan tape, yes, tape that had an instrumental of one of her songs at the end of the tape. I don't even remember which one it was, but I remember taking it and rewriting a new song to it when I was like 13. So I always knew I wanted to write music. I just had never played an instrument and none of that. So when I got to be 2021, I met my co-writer, Corey Johnson, and he had a full recording studio, and we started writing together. We wrote a full album. Pride actually is out there. That was the original album that I had wrote with Corey many years ago. And basically, he's like, you don't need to know how to play an instrument like fully and to write. So I just started sitting down at the piano and just playing what sounded good to my ear, and I realized that I can actually play what's in my head even though I don't know what chords are or any of that. I can play and write a whole song and I have no idea what I'm playing, but I can play what's in my head. And then my co-writer will take it and he's like, oh, this is what you meant to play, but it was pretty close, and he'll replay it what I was supposed to have written, except for in You Keep Me Grounded off my Inner Me album. That piano in there is all me. He left it in there because I played it so well this time around.
But it sounds
But
like
yeah,
yeah, yeah. And it sounds like you have a really great just inner ear and that you trust it. And I mean, that's a beautiful ability to, hear a melody and then all of a sudden, you can bring that out to fruition in an instrument, and then combine your other skills with
That's
songwriting and
correct.
singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a really unique process, and I would recommend it to anybody. Just sit down at a piano, and even if you don't ever put it out there, just it's like my diary. My Inner Me album is literally my diary to the world about like Priceless is all about my self-esteem issues. And I mean, I grew up with having a really low self-esteem, and I mean, I still do. And I struggle with mental health, like with anxiety and such. And so writing music really helps with that. So that's kind of my core way to go. Instead of going to counseling, I write a song. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What a beautiful creative outlet. And I so appreciate you sharing that. So music also has that healing component. Because
It
as you were
does.
singing Priceless, Shimmer, I was thinking, wow, what a beautiful, empowering song. I mean, I'm listening to the lyrics, listening to your voice, listening, to the melody, and it has such a powerful, empowering, message that's going on. And now it's kind of tying together with what you're
Yes.
sharing as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want positive messages out there, and I want people that when they listen to my music to actually connect to it and be able to insert themselves into it and feel better after they listen to it. So I write kind of that way because I want to be able to let people out there know in the world that they're not alone, that there is other people that feel this way. And I'm just courageous enough to share it with the world, and I'm hoping everybody connects to it and loves it, and follows me, and hopefully supports my music career as long as I can possibly do it. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's been so amazing that it seems like, things that, like as you said, are really lined up for you, as you were saying with Awaken, but the more you're kind of unraveling your story, very like early on, like just the different people that you've come in contact with,
yeah,
being
I've
in.
met some amazing people. I started I recommend this to any songwriter. Don't just leave your music on the computer. Make sure it's the best you can possibly do, and then release it. Don't just leave it on your computer, because if you just leave it on your computer, nobody's going to ever hear it. And networking is key. LinkedIn is amazing for marketing to like A&R reps and stuff like that. I met lots off of there, actually. And then I started going to LA. I actually got this ticket from Reverb Nation that allowed me to go to this networking conference in like 2017, I believe it was. And we showed up in LA in North Hollywood, and me and my co-writer, and we went upstairs. It was in this like little crappy bar. Like we're like, oh my god, we flew all the way here and it's in a little crappy bar. And we're like, oh, and then I was like, well, you know what, let's just stay and see how it turns out, because we flew all the way here. It's a 3-day thing. Let's just do it. And we did. We stayed. And then what was really cool is, the players from Earth, Wind, and Fire started walking in. And then Michael J., who wrote Martika's Toy Soldier, walked in. And that's actually where I met him. And that's what started all of my networking stuff. I went up to him because I was performing in Fort McMurray, Alberta. About 2 months later, I was going to be singing his Toy Soldier song because I was opening up for Glass Tiger and doing an 80s cover set. And I was like, I'm actually going to be doing your song Toy Soldiers. I'd love to send it to you. And he gave me his card with his email and his phone number. And as soon as he gave me that, I chatted a little bit longer with him. I sat down and I emailed him my song Don't Break Me, Pride, and Getaway. I emailed him 3 songs right away. I'm like, this is me. This is the songwriting. I talked to you at the whatever. Like, he wasn't even at home yet. I was typing this while he was standing in front of me. He had no idea. And then I never heard from him for like a day or so. And then we flew back to Edmonton. And then he actually called me and he's like, are you still in LA? I'm like, no, I'm not in LA anymore. He's like, well, I'd like to write with you. When could you be back? I'm like, I can fly back now. And I booked a flight and went back and met Michael J. And we wrote this really cool song called Breakaway. And we wrote it together in his house. It was awesome. And then I'm going to actually be releasing that in 2022. It's going to be cool. And and after we wrote the song, he invited me to this other event where I got to meet Alan Rich, and I even got to meet Diane Warren, which was awesome. And it's all about networking. If you can network and talk with people and work with people and co-write with people, that's the key to a songwriter. You just meeting and working with as many people as you possibly can.
Mhm. Yeah, you've given some amazing advice to anybody who's watching this that may, just be getting their feet wet in music, or maybe,
Yep.
have a little bit more experience, or maybe that, just wants to kind of make that dive into it, and talk about the right place at the right time at the crappy
Yep.
bar.
Yeah, it was a little tiny crappy bar in North Hollywood. Not even kidding.
Wow, and look at all that came from that. Wow.
But everything came from that. And the last few years has been amazing. And I've worked with so many amazing people in the last few years because of it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, yeah. And you're very clear with your vision with your music,
I
and
am.
with your style, and you're very, very driven.
I try to be as driven as possible. If you're not driven, you won't really make it anywhere in this industry. There's just too many of us out there.
Mhm.
So you have to be on top of your game at all times. That's like I even send out my I do all my own emailing for radio promos. So I created my own list of like 5,000 radio stations, and I just every time I have a single, I sit there and I email each one separately, and it takes me about 3 days to email my one single to all the stations, but it does really well. And I've even had some iHeart and the bigger major radio stations message me back and say, I love the song, but I can't play it because you're indie. Not even kidding. So, my goal is to eventually, but what's really nice though is those bigger stations are at least listening to it. They're listening to what I'm sending them. And one of the bigger stations actually said, I really love your stuff. Send me one that's faster, and we might be able to get it on. So I'm going to send them. It starts with you next week actually, and hopefully, you know, that radio promoter will play it for me. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I also wanted to touch upon before we wrap things up, your
yep,
courageousness, because you sharing through the lyrics a lot of things that are personal to you, things that
yep,
you've directly experienced, and sharing that with others and let them know they're not alone, and that it's some content that's relatable and
yeah.
important to you.
Basically, it's a message of it's okay to not be okay, and to be able to express yourself in music or art or whatever makes you happy, really. So
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Wow. Well, this has been amazing to connect with you. And I just love all the, success that you've already had. And I just know it's going to continue and snowball, and, really move into something that's very meaningful for you, and very fulfilling.
yeah,
We have to wrap the show up.
we
Um,
do.
how would you like to close out the show? We always let our guests provide the closing comments, and then let us know how we can stay connected with you.
All right. Well, I hope you guys all enjoy my emotional roller coaster music on my Inner Me album, my new song Awaken, and it starts with you, that comes out literally next Friday. I hope you guys check me out. Just Google Shimmer Johnson. All my stuff will come up. My website is www.shimmerjohnson.com. And on Twitter, I'm Shimmer_Johnson. And on Instagram, I'm official Shimmer Johnson. And if you really, really love TikTok, I'm on TikTok too. And you just have to put in at Shimmer Johnson, and all of my videos will come up. And I do some pretty goofy ones. So please come and check me out. And I do lots of duets and fun cover stuff on TikTok. So please join me on all my social media. I'm not one of those artists that won't respond to you. I actually will message you back and chat with you. I love doing that. So feel free to do that and chat with me anytime.
Awesome. Shimmer, thank you so much for being our guest today on Art and Talk.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're
Thanks for sharing
welcome.
my music.
Absolutely. And again, wishing you much success. Stay connected with us and let us know how things are going. Good luck with the new single that's coming out. And
Thank you.
yeah, let us know about all the new developments that'll be happening for you.
I will for sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for watching today. and stay connected with us. We're on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter. We appreciate you being connected with us, and we'll talk soon on the next Art and Talk. Until then, be well and be blessed.